we are reminded that we're joined together by our pursuit of a life that's productive and purposeful. And when that happens, mistrust begins to fade, and our smaller differences no longer overshadow the things that we share. And that's where progress begins. So to all of you, I want you to know that the world will be what you make of it. You can choose to build new bridges instead of building new walls. You can choose to put aside long-standing divisions in pursuit of lasting peace. You can choose to advance a prosperity that is shared by all people and not just the wealthy few. And I want you to know that in these endeavors, you will find a partner and a supporter and a friend in the United States of America. So I very much appreciate all of you joining me here today. And now what I'd like to do is take some questions. I think we've got, do we have some microphones in the audience? So what I'd like to do is people can just raise their hands, and I'll choose each person. If you could stand up and introduce yourself. I have a little microphone in my pocket here in case you're speaking Turkish, because my Turkish is not so good. And I'll have a translator for me. Okay? All right. And I want to make sure that we end before the call to prayer. So we have about, it looks like we have about half an hour. All right? Okay, we'll start right here.
I'm Dilara Çalışkan from Bilgi University. I want to ask some questions about climate issue.
Yes.
Yesterday you said that the peace in home and peace in world. But to my opinion, firstly, the peace should be in nature. Mm-hmm. For this reason, I wonder that when the USA will sign the Kyoto Protocol.
Well, it's an excellent question. Is this mic working? It is? Okay. Thank you very much. What was your name?
Lara.
As many of you know, I think the science tells us that the planet is getting warmer because of carbon gases that are being sent into the atmosphere. And if we do not take steps soon to deal with it, then you could see an increase of 3, 4, 5 degrees, which would have a devastating effect. The oceans would rise. We don't know what would happen to the beauty of Istanbul if suddenly the seas rise. Changing weather patterns would create extraordinary drought in some regions, floods in others. It could have a devastating effect on human civilization. So we've got to take steps to deal with this. When the Kyoto Protocol was put forward, the United States opted out of it, as did China and some other countries. And I think that was a mistake, particularly because the United States is the biggest carbon, has been the biggest carbon producer. China is now becoming the biggest carbon producer because its population is so large. And so we need to bring an international agreement together very soon. It doesn't make sense for the United States to sign Kyoto because Kyoto is about to end. So instead, what my administration is doing is preparing for the next round, which is, there will be discussions in Copenhagen at the end of this year. And what we want to do is to prepare an agenda both in the United States and work internationally so that we can start making progress on these issues. Now, there are a number of elements. Number one, we have to be more energy efficient. And so all countries around the world should be sharing technology and information about how we can reduce the usage of electricity and how we can make our transportation more efficient, make our cars get better gas mileage. Reducing the amount of energy we use is absolutely critical. We should also think about, are there ways that if we're using fossil fuels, oil, coal, other fossil fuels, are there ways of capturing or reducing the carbon emissions that come from them? So this is going to be a big, big project and a very difficult one and a very costly one. And I don't want to lie to you. I think the politics of this in every country is going to be very difficult. Because if you suddenly say to people, you have to change your factory to make it more energy efficient, well, that costs the factory owner money. If you say to a power plant, you have to produce energy in a different way, and that costs them money, then they want to pass that cost on to consumers, which means everybody's electricity prices go up, and that is something that is not very popular. So there are going to be big political struggles in every country to try to ratify an agreement on these issues. And that's why it's going to be so important that young people like yourself, who will be suffering the consequences if we don't do something, that you are active politically in making sure that politicians in every country are responsive to these issues, and that we educate the public more than we have so far. But it's an excellent question. Thank you. All right. This gentleman right here.
Thank you. My name is Cemil Nasa, and I'm studying at Bahçeşehir University, and my major is energy engineering.
Oh, so there you go. You could have given an even better answer.
Yeah, I hope we will solve that problem in the future. Yes. So my question is, what actions will you take after you wrote the quote, peace at home, peace at the world, to the Atatürk's mausoleum? And
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
What actions will you take after you wrote the quote, peace at home and peace at the world, to the notebook in Atatürk's mausoleum? And what do you think, as Turkish young men and women, how can we help you at this purpose you have?
Good. Well, some people say that that maybe I'm being too idealistic. You know, I made a speech in Prague about reducing and ultimately eliminating nuclear weapons. And some people said, that will never happen. And some people have said, why are you discussing the Middle East when it's not going to be possible for the Israelis and the Palestinians to come together? Or why are you reaching out to the Iranians, because the U.S. and Iran can never agree on anything? My attitude is that all these things are hard. I mean, I'm not naive. If it was easy, it would have already been done. Somebody else would have done it. But if we don't try, if we don't reach high, then we won't make any progress. And I think that there's a lot of progress that can be made. And as I said in my opening remarks, I think the most important thing to start with is dialogue. You know, when you have a chance to meet people from other cultures and other countries, and you listen to them, and you find out that even though you may speak a different language or you may have a different religious faith, it turns out that you care about your family, you have your same hopes about being able to have a career that is useful to the society. You hope that you can raise a family of your own, and that your children will be healthy and have a good education. That, all those things that human beings all around the world share are more important than the things that are different. And so that is a very important place to start. And that's where young people can be very helpful. Because I think old people, we get into habits and we become suspicious, and we carry grudges, right? It was interesting when I met with